Hello everyone, meteorologist Jordan Darensberg here, and we've actually got a breaking news update in regards to the flood watch that has been expanded. Like I talked about at midday, the flood watch, I had a hunch it was going to be expanded, and lo and behold, it has. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the boxes real quick before we go to the wall, because we now have Burnett, Williamson, Lee, Bastrop, Fayette, and Travis counties. So Austin proper, you're in this, in addition to Milam County's flood watch. Now, the counties that I just named besides Milam, this graphic does say through Thursday morning. However, this is through Friday at 8 a.m. So we're not just talking about today, folks. We're talking about tomorrow as well. There is a flood watch that is in effect for a good chunk of our KVU area now, including Burnett County. And if we get enough rain in that particular area and points a little off to the west, that's where we have the better chances of the Highland Lakes seeing the benefits of this. But watch this very, very closely now, as we are going to take this to the wall, and we are going to show you that flood watch one more time. So again, it is Milam County until tomorrow morning, but we've also got Lee, Bastrop, Fayette, as well as Burnett counties, as well as Wilco and Travis counties until Friday morning. So this is just in to the KVU newsroom and the KVU weather impact team. This has been expanded, that flood watch. So again, if you encounter any of those low water crossings in any of those flooded roads, please, for the love of all things holy, turn around. You do not want to get caught in a tough situation. Quick look outside. This is our Zach Theater weather camera, and we are looking mostly cloudy here. Temperatures are in the lower 80s, and we expect to stay in the 80s throughout most of the afternoon. We do have some upper 70s still straggling along in some sections of Central Texas. Georgetown, Burnett at 79, Blanco at 79, Giddings and LaGrange at 79 as well. But in addition to that, we have a 2 out of 5 slight risk for severe weather for our southeastern counties. Damaging winds look to be the main threat with any of these stronger storms that could pop up overnight, including places like San Marcos, as well as Bastrop, Giddings, as well as LaGrange. Luling also in that 2 out of 5. The rest of the KVU counties are in the 1 out of 5 marginal risk, but it's the flooding we have been monitoring very, very closely. It looks like it's expanded just a little bit out through portions of Llano County, northern sections of Blanco County, extreme northeastern Gillespie County, but you've got Burnett County, Travis County, Williamson County, Milam County, Lee and Bastrop counties. All of the counties that are in that flood watch are in that 3 out of 4 moderate flood risk. And this is the first time for the Austin Metro, as a matter of fact, since 2021. So 4 years ago, we've had that risk of excessive rainfall. That's your main threat with these severe threats for today and tomorrow. Damaging winds, like I said, also possible. Can't rule out a storm that has some small hail, maybe a brief spin-up tornado, but we're really looking at a wind threat out of all the other 3. But it's the heavy rain that we are going to be tracking. Now, temperatures could be getting to the mid 80s by the time we get to 4 in the afternoon, but then it's 4 in the afternoon and then 8 o'clock overnight. That's when we're going to have the better chances for some of those stronger storms as we go hour by hour. And again, this won't be till after midnight, so this could be one of those things that could wake you up a little bit. So 5:30 a.m. through 6:30 through 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, that's going to be the main timeline. So if you have that morning commute, you want to really watch closely to see what roads are closed, because there are going to be quite a few road closures if there's enough rainfall that causes flash flooding, especially in those low water crossings. So you want to make sure you try and find an alternate route to get to work tomorrow morning. Now let's look at our rainfall forecast. This is one particular model. This is the HRRR. This is the model that has been getting a better grasp on this situation. And look at that, 4.81 in Giddings according to this model, 5.34 by the time we get to tomorrow night, and 5.93 in LaGrange. So we're looking at pockets of around maybe 4, 5, 6 inches in this little general area here of the coastal plains, and maybe even a pocket of some heavier rain in sections of the hill country as well. Hill country could still get some good rainfall totals. Everybody in the KVU viewing area is fair game for some of the heaviest totals. There is still that slight 2 out of 4 risk for excessive rainfall in the rest of our KVU counties in the areas that are not in that moderate risk, but still plenty of rainfall. Yes, it's going to help our drought situation. Yes, if it falls in the right place, it'll help our highland lakes. But we do not want the flood threatening, and we certainly don't want a significant flash flood threat like we had with that microburst here in the city, where we had that flash flood here as well that did unfortunately claim the life of an unhoused individual. Now your storm chances are going to go down as we head through Thursday afternoon. That's because that main system will finally move out, and we could still have some spotty scattered storms as we head through your Friday and then eventually into your Saturday and Sunday, your Father's Day weekend. And there, the temperatures respond in kind as well. 95 Friday, 95 Saturday, 94 for Sunday, but 96 as we head into Tuesday. But again, we're going to be really watching this situation very, very closely. And I would not be surprised if we issued a weather impact alert day for tomorrow morning as a result of everything going on. So by and large, we are going to watch this really, really closely as we head into the latter part of the evening tonight and into early next week. So let's see if you've got any questions. I know you guys have them. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and put myself back on here. And Sucelia Reyes says, I hope we get some rain. I know we all want rain. I know we want it. And I know, and I'm going to put the flood watch graphic back up too. I'm going to refresh it as well. Okay, through Friday morning. That's been refreshed. And I'm going to pull ahead and pull it back in, and I'll put that in the boxes while I answer all of your questions. All right. So we've got Sucelia Reyes saying, I hope we get some rain. David Alford, one of the biggest fans of all time of KView. He says, appreciate the updates. Thank you very much. My pleasure. He actually was in our studio hanging out with me a few weeks ago, I think it was, and it was a really nice, fun time. But again, back to this, the flood watch again, if you're just joining us now, Burnett, Williamson, Travis, Bastrop, LaGrange, Lee, and Milam counties now under a flood watch. And for most of us, it's until Friday morning. And Roxy Winston says, thanks, no severe weather. We don't want the severe weather, okay? We don't want the damaging winds. We don't want the hail. We don't want the tornadoes. And we certainly don't want the flooding, even though that's our main threat. But we could use any bit of rain we could get, especially for Lake Travis. I've looked at the latest hydromet forecast. It did have Lake Travis dropping just a little bit. But a key thing to note here is that Lake Travis and the LCRA people, they don't forecast for rain that hadn't fallen yet. So they tend to be kind of on the conservative end as to how much a lake could rise and how much water can go into that lake, how much water is going to be going into that lake, because they don't account for rain that hadn't fallen yet. So if the heaviest rain does shift a little bit further off to the west, then we could see them forecasting more of a rise. But right now they have it dropping by around half a foot. But again, they love to be conservative. So we're going to see where all the rain falls and what that's going to do for our lake levels. But we really want it in the hill country, because the hill country really needs most of that rain. The coastal plains, they need some rain too. There's still a bit of a drought for the coastal plains as well, but this should really help that. But again, we really don't want the flash flooding. Chris Sierra asking about the chances of hail. They're pretty much nil, but they're small, but they're pretty much nil. They're there, but again, we're not going to see a whole lot of hail. It's going to be the rain that we're going to be watching. And I'm going to go ahead and take myself full here, kind of show y'all what we're talking about here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull up the lake level graphic, because I did see where there was some improvement. We've got Lake Buchanan now at 60%, which is really good news. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull Cam 4 up to kind of show you our lake levels just a little bit, or excuse me, the boxes. There we go. We're going to show you our lake levels a little bit. And right now it has Lake Buchanan at around 60%. So Lake Travis is at 45, so it's gone up a little bit. It's gone up. It was at 44 this morning. It's now up to 45. So the lake levels are important. A lot of this heavy rain won't be counted on tomorrow's drought monitor. It'll be counted on next week's. So we should see a real noticeable difference depending on how much rain falls. But I just wanted to show you this real quick because this is our water supply here in the Austin area. And you're probably looking at a lot of this with a lot of optimism. It's like, yes, we're going to get so much rain. But this is where we need the rain to fall for our water supply here in Austin and in the surrounding areas. But a lot of the model data has it shifted more toward the coastal plains. Now I'm going to show you another model that's called the graph model. And I'm going to go ahead and show y'all that because it has a lot of the heaviest rain in the hill country. Now this model hasn't really performed as well as HRRR, but again, we do have good chances of rain. Look at that, 2 a.m. This particular model does have it right over the Austin metro, but we do have places like the Grange seeing some heavier rainfall. But then as we head through 5 and 6 o'clock, this model doesn't really have much. But as we head into 10, 10:30, 11, 11:30, a lot of the heaviest rain does stay to the east, so it has the coastal plains again. But it has temperatures getting closer to the mid to upper 80s here. So I think it's going to be slightly warmer tomorrow than today. But again, okay, so Elizabeth Villanueva, and that's a very valid question. And I know Brandon, you have a question, and I'm going to answer yours in a bit, but why is that? It's because of all the model data that the National Weather Service has at their disposal. Now, for instance, the National Weather Service doesn't really have the graph model. That's an in-house model that we have, but the National Weather Service does have access to all sorts of different models like the HRRR. There's a North American Mesoscale model. That particular model has a lot of the heaviest rain to our north, but not the strongest storms in our northern counties. The strongest storms are in our southern counties, but they're not going to yield as much rain as the northern counties. So to answer your question, Elizabeth, that's going to be why that is. But now, Brandon, you are asking about Giddings, and Giddings looking at, I would say, later on this evening into the overnight, and this is going to be the blanket for everybody here in Central Texas. We're looking late evening, overnight. I know you're asking about your specific town, and I know you guys are going to ask about where you exactly are. It is a little harder to pinpoint an exact location at a given time, but we try to time things out for a generalized area as much as possible, or as hyper local for you as much as possible, so that you can get that forecast, so that you can make an informed decision on whatever plans you might have. So that's a keynote there as well. And I believe that's it for our questions right now. I'm going to get things ready for our 4 o'clock show. And I will see you guys at 4 on KVUE with the latest on the flood watch that's now been expanded like what we expected. And we're going to continue to pay very close attention to this for you on KVUE as well as on KVUE.com, the KVUE app, and of course on air as well. So thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon, and we will see you guys in about a couple of hours for KVUE News at 4, where we'll have more on this, and then I'll be in at 4, but then our chief meteorologist, Hunter Williams, he'll have the 5, 6, and 10 later on tonight with all of the latest on it. So thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see y'all on 4 o'clock on KVUE News at 4.